friends. Happy Thursday. I hope everyone is doing all right and settling in to their routines. We have one more minute or so before we get started. So just kind of relax. Welcome to my basement. Sorry about the light. It's a little crazy. The sun is setting on that side, so you get to see the beautiful sunlight come through. I'm Andi, for those of you who haven't joined in with me or taken my class with me. I'm Andi, and I am a Yoga Buzz grad. I graduated from teacher training in December of 2018, and I'm just super honored to be able to provide this service during a time where we need it the most. So tonight's class will be a deep stretch class. It's not something that I typically offer on my normal schedule, but it's something that I love, and I hope you love it too. And I hope that you really enjoy it. I'm gonna flip the overhead lights on before we get started. This is live TV, people. There we go. So just get comfortable and start making your way to the mat. And like I said, typically I don't teach deep stretch as part of my normal classes, but I love it and I use it a lot, and I thought, why not offer it up to the world? So with deep stretch, what you're really going for is feeling, it's a slower practice. It could be, you'll find deep stretch a lot of ways with a lot of different teachers. The way I practice deep stretch is it's a lot slower. It's really feeling into muscle groups and things like that. Just getting a little bit deeper into muscles that may be tight. I'm sure all of us have tight muscles right now. So, whether it's your back, your neck, your legs, your hips, whatever it is, hopefully you will enjoy the stretch. It'll be probably about 30 to 40 minutes, and then you can go on with your evening. But like I said, I'm Andi, if you didn't catch that at the beginning. Typically, I teach the first Tuesday of every month up at Florissant Valley Library, and then and that's a free class that I offer. It's a gentle yoga, and then I teach at Brick City Yoga in Benton Park, and I teach there Monday nights. I teach restorative at 7:15. Wednesdays I teach a yoga for self-acceptance class at 7, and then Thursdays I teach a slow flow at 6. I know that after this is all done, I would love to see everyone out at yoga events. And you might also recognize me because I volunteered a lot of Yoga Buzz events, and I'm also the administrator for yoga at Keener Plaza, and one of the administrators for Yoga at the Arch. So you may not have known that I teach yoga too if you've been at those things and seen me there, but I do. So really happy to be here. So for us to get started tonight, we'll probably want to start on our backs. Also, before I forget, there should be a donate button right below the video. Please donate to Yoga Buzz so that we can continue to make yoga accessible for everyone in our city, in our area, and train more accessible and trauma-informed teachers in the future. So if you hit the donate button, that money goes to great causes, and it goes to teach the future teachers, the future yoga teachers of our community, all yoga teachers. So anyway, we'll start on our backs tonight. So if you just want to find your way there, just take your time and lower yourself onto the mat. And when you lower yourself down, keep your knees bent if that's comfortable for you, and just kind of relax onto the mat. We're just going to kind of come into the practice So just kind of notice your breathing. Notice how you're sitting tonight in terms of how your body is just settling in. If you want to elongate your back, maybe you lift up your hips and push whatever you need to down in place to elongate your back. And just start breathing. And it doesn't have to be anything exaggerated. It doesn't have to be long breaths yet. It just is how you're breathing. Just notice it, appreciate it, and have a little grace with yourself tonight. Grace is something that I've been preaching all week. We all need to have grace with ourselves, with others. We're all going through a lot, and grace is such a wonderful gift that we can give both of ourselves and give to others. If you're having a hard time tuning into your breath, maybe you bring your hands to your belly and just notice there. Notice your hands moving up and down. Soften. Soften anything that you can. And just breathe. And if you'd like to, maybe take longer breaths. You can make it longer on the inhale, make it longer on the exhale, or make it longer both sides. Or you can stay how you are. Just breathe and notice. It's still a beautiful evening out. You may hear the birds coming down. Just breathe and notice. Good. Now start coming back to a normal rhythm for your breath. Maybe bring your hands down to the sides. And on the next inhale, lift your hands up over your head so that your palms are touching the floor behind you. And exhale, lower your hands back down. Inhale, raise your hands up overhead, stretch your arms. And exhale, lower your hands back down. One more time, inhale, raise your hands up over, stretch. And exhale, lower your hands back down. Now this time, you may grab the side of your mat. You may walk your feet a little bit closer to your backside. Maybe stack your shoulders up behind you. And on the next inhale, maybe lift your hips up off the mat. Now maybe you can just lift your hips up a little bit. Or maybe you take it into full bridge. Exhale, lower your hips back down. Again, inhale, push into your feet, lift those hips, push into those shoulders. Exhale, lower your hips back down. One more time, inhale, lift the hips up off the mat, however high you can get them, and exhale, lower your hips back down. Now, if you want to, and you feel sturdy enough, you can inhale, raise those hips, raise those hands, bringing your hands behind you, lifting those hips up. Exhale, lower yourself back down. Again, push into your feet. Inhale, lift, stretch. Exhale, lower your arms, lower the hips. Now, if you can't do that, don't worry about it. Just feel into your body. Maybe you're just doing your hips up and down. Maybe you're just doing your arms, but one more time, let's try to do one or the other. Inhale and exhale. Good. Now, take your right leg, and we're going to bring that up, and you can either grab your knee, or you can grab your thigh, or somewhere along your leg, wherever it's comfortable for you. Straighten that left leg and just start making some bicycles with that right leg. It could be slow. It could be as big or as small as you like. Keep that foot flexed, that right foot flexed and the left foot. Make those bicycles. Good. A few more. Maybe go the opposite direction, so like you're pedaling backwards. The most awkward unicycle ever. Feel into that stretch. And exhale, lower that leg down. Now that right leg may feel longer than the other leg. Don't worry, we'll fix that. Lift your left leg up. Now you may grab your thigh or the outside just to kind of get it sturdy. And then when you're ready, you start making a bicycle motion with this leg. So the left leg, keep the foot flexed. Keep the right foot flexed. And just ride that unicycle. Or a little scooter. Maybe you go the opposite direction. You decide what feels good tonight. Just stretch it out. 2 more rounds wherever you're at. And whenever you're ready, lower that left leg down. Now your legs probably feel like hopefully they feel like they're a little bit more evened out. On the next inhale, bring your knees up to your chest. Just kind of rock back and forth. Giving that back a nice little massage. You can keep your knees wide here. You can bring your feet together. If Happy Baby is in your practice, by all means take that. You can bring your knees closer together. You decide what you need. This is your practice. And whenever you're ready, bring your legs or your feet back down on the mat. So your knees are pointing towards the sky. Take that right leg, rest it on top of the left leg. Maybe push into that right leg, opening it up a little bit. So giving yourself a stretch, opening up that hip. Now this might be enough for you, but if you'd like, you can straighten that left leg, coming into a figure 4 and kind of giving yourself a gentle push to that right leg. That probably should be enough. So channel your inner WWE wrestler or whatever type of wrestler. Coming into that figure 4, and just breathe, whether it's in the figure 4 this way or reverse pigeon. You decide what feels good. Just make sure you're stretching that right hip. Exhale, lower that right leg down. Switch legs. Take that left leg, place it on top of the right knee. Maybe you take your left hand pushing into that left leg. You can stay like this. This is good enough, and this is a great stretch. Or you may choose to lower that right leg, keeping that right foot flexed, flexing that left foot coming into the figure 4 on the opposite side. Wherever you choose to be, make sure that you're breathing. Breathing into those muscles. You're probably tense. You may have been sitting a lot lately. Or maybe you just got back from a walk and you're needing to stretch out from that. On the next inhale, maybe you bring your foot back up. Exhale, lower that left foot. Bring your feet as wide as the mat, and then just start windshield wipering your legs back and forth. So let's go ahead and bring our arms out to a T here. Just slowly windshield wiper your legs back and forth. Take your time here. No rush. And whenever your legs fall to the right, let them just kind of rest to the right. So your torso, the upper part of your torso is pointing towards the sky. Your legs or pointing towards the right side of your space. Your arms are out to a T. Maybe you look over your left shoulder towards the opposite side of your space. Giving yourself a nice twist here. If you need a little deeper stretch, take that right foot, bring it on top of your left knee. Breathe here. You decide where you want your feet and your legs tonight. Take a few more breaths. And on the next inhale, raise that left leg up, raise the right. Windshield wiper again, back and forth. Take your time. And whenever your legs fall to the left, let them just rest to the left. You might notice your body's different on each side. That's okay, just notice it. It's anatomy, folks. Keep your arms out to a T. Maybe you look over your right shoulder this time. Maybe you need a deeper stretch, so you take that left knee or that left foot and you bring it on top of your right knee. Breathe here. Wherever your stretch is tonight, it's perfectly fine. Take a few more breaths. And whenever you're ready, on the next inhale, raise that right leg, then the left. Windshield wiper one more time, just back and forth, back and forth. And then bring your knees back to neutral position. Again, bring your hands down, give yourself a hug. So maybe you bring your knees to your chest, rocking side to side, giving that lower back some love. Have a little grace with yourself. So wherever you're at tonight with your practice, know that it's okay, that it's enough. And then if you like, maybe you bring your head off the mat and you just kind of start rocking along your spine. So up and down. And maybe you start gaining a little bit of momentum doing that. Enough momentum that maybe you push yourself up into a seated position. Maybe you just get up into a seated position. However you get to a seated position is fine. So once you arrive in a seated position on your mat, just kind of check in with yourself. Maybe make your neck long, keep your shoulders down. To keep your shoulders down, you may just bring your hands down. So shrug your shoulders up, bring your hands down to the mat. And just notice how that feels, how you're sitting. So you should be sitting a little bit taller. And breathe. And on the next inhale, raise your hands up overhead. Reach for the sky. Reach for the moon. The sun's still sort of out, so you can reach for that if you want. And then whenever you're ready, you're going to exhale, lower that right hand down, bring the left up and over so that your neck is nice and strong. You might be just pointing over to the side, to the right side of your mat. Maybe you just want to lift your left hand straight up, opening up that way. Maybe you're needing movement tonight. So if you're doing movement, make sure when you come back around that you're opening up that chest so that your heart is pointing towards the sky. So if you're doing a little bit of movement, make it a heart opener. But you decide where you want to be. On the next inhale, raise your hands up, reach for the sky. Exhale, lower the left hand down. Reach the right, either up and over, straight up, or find that movement, opening up your chest. You decide what you want. Breathe. Feel that stretch in your side body. On the next inhale, raise your arms up, reach, 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 reach. And exhale, hinge forward, kind of coming into a forward fold / child's pose. You decide what you need tonight. So if you need a little bit more, I don't want to say a little bit more action, but if you need a little bit more oomph tonight, come up, take your fingers, keep that neck and spine engaged. If you need a little bit more grace and relaxation, lower your hands down, tuck your chin to chest, rest and breathe. Really reach out. Know that either way is okay. That we're all different in what we need at any given point. Take a few more breaths. On the next inhale, slowly rise up. Bring your hands down to your side. Inhale, hands overhead. Exhale, we're going to twist to the right. Bring that left hand either to the left or to the right knee, to the right shin, whatever is feasible for you. Take that right hand, prop it up behind you. Sit tall here. So when you push your hand in behind you, it should feel like broop, sitting tall. You can either look over to the right side of your mat or twist with the torso, looking back towards the back of the room. With each breath, see if you can fill those ribs, fill those lungs, sit a little bit taller. Take a few more breaths here. On the next inhale, raise your hands up, reach for the sky, and exhale, lower down on the left-hand side. Find where your right hand will go. Either knee, shin, whatever is feasible for you. Take that left hand, tent it, sit tall, look over to the side of your mat, or twist with your torso, looking behind you. I notice that my left side is a little bit looser, so sometimes that's easier for me to twist more. I don't know, everybody's different, so just notice that. Wherever you're at, sit tall, breathe into those ribs. You're doing great. On the next inhale, rise back up, and exhale, lower the hands down. Good. Now find your way into tabletop. Don't worry how you get there. However you get there is fine. So, you come into tabletop. Make sure those hands are spread wide on the mat. Don't sink your shoulders down, so don't put all the pressure down into your shoulders. Don't rise up too much where you're like arching your back just yet. What you're wanting to do is just kind of find a neutral tabletop. And on your next exhale, lower your stomach, look for the front of the mat or the front of your space. Inhale, tuck your chin to chest, curving that tailbone in. Exhale, cow. Inhale, cat. Now maybe you stay like this. Maybe this is your jam. Maybe you decide you want a little bit more organic movement. Make those circles so you can exhale, inhale. So you can still do cat and cow head, tucking, and then looking forward. Or you can rock back and forth. Make it fluid. Yoga doesn't have to be a certain way. You want to be safe and you want it to feel good. Those are my rules of yoga. So take that with whatever grain of salt you want. Then come back to neutral. Bring your knees a little bit wider potentially. Sink those hips back, walk your hands forward. Maybe you come down to child's pose. So maybe you take that third eye, you can't see it, but it's there, that third eye, and you put it on the mat. Maybe you can't get your head to the mat, that's okay. Maybe that's not comfortable for you. Maybe you bring your arms so they're at a 90-degree angle, and you rest that way. Or maybe you bring your knees closer together, still walking your hands out, dropping more of the chest down, coming into more of a puppy pose. So you decide what feels good. We're gonna be here for a few. So if you also have a block or a blanket or something, anything to bring that mat up to you, feel free to use that to rest your head on. Take a few breaths wherever you're at. Know that you can adjust. And whenever you're ready, start walking your hands over to the right side of your mat or space that you're practicing. So you should feel a stretch in that left side body. If you want a deeper stretch, take that left hand, place it on top of the right. Breathe here. Good. Take a couple more breaths. And then on the next exhale, bring your hands back to neutral. Kind of even everything out. And then when you're ready, start walking your hands over to the left side of your mat. So feel that stretch this time on the right side body. You may take that right hand, place it over your left, giving you a deeper stretch. Breathe here. On the next inhale, walk your hands back to center. Then maybe you walk back into tabletop. Tuck your toes. Bring your hips up and back into downward facing dog. Now downward facing dog, you want to kind of push that chest towards your legs. See if you can get those heels as close as possible to the mat. Might not happen. You can bend your knees as well. Giving yourself a stretch. Let that head hang a little bit loose. And then on the next inhale, you're going to plant that left foot, raise that right foot up behind you. And then on the exhale, step it forward. So you're going to kind of come into a lunge. Lower that back left leg. Now, if you can either mirror that front right foot, or if you need more room, like I do, I just bring that right foot out a little bit, adjust my left leg, and you're just going to kind of stretch into that so that you're getting a stretch into that back left thigh. Maybe you shine your chest forward. Feeling into that stretch, you might make it a little bit mobile. Just feel into it. Now, if this feels good and secure for you, if you want to, if you have your hands on either side of your foot, you may bring that right foot out, bringing your hands on the inside of that right leg. Maybe you start walking your hands out and lower your forearms to the mat, coming into like a lizard pose. This might not feel good. If it does, go for it. If it doesn't, this is totally fine. Just shine that chest forward, continuing to stretch. See if you can firm up that right leg. You may also take it out a little bit. Maybe you need a hip opener. On the next inhale, slowly bring that foot back around into tabletop. Tuck your toes, sink your hips up and back into Downward facing dog again. Walk out the dog, come up on your toes maybe, sink that chest in. Take your right foot, plant it. Inhale, raise that left leg up behind you. Breathe and exhale, step it forward. You might need to work it forward. You find what's comfortable for you. Lower that right leg down. Maybe you frame that left foot. Maybe you automatically give yourself some more room by bringing your hands on the inside of that left leg. And just kind of, maybe you walk that right leg back. Shine that chest towards the front of your mat. See if that feels good. You rock back and forth. And like I said, if it would feel good for you and you want a deeper stretch, just start placing your forearms. Walk your forearms a little bit forward, placing them down on the mat. So like a lizard. I don't know how this looks like well, I guess it looks like a lizard. Like an awkward lizard. This might feel good for you, it might give you a nice stretch. If it doesn't, don't feel like you have to do it. Also, if you have blocks, you can use those and just bring your arms to the blocks. If you have books, same thing. Feel into that stretch. Maybe firm up that left leg. Maybe you need a little bit more of a hip opener, so you open it up a little bit. Just see what you need. Take a few more breaths. And take your time. Good. Now, bring your hands back down to the mat. If you have them, bring them right underneath you. Bring that left leg back so that you're in tabletop. Just kind of rock back and forth. Wag your tail. Maybe bring your head side to side. And then whenever you're ready, tuck those toes, sink your feet up and back into downward facing dog. Now you notice here I'm using blocks. This is a great way to be if you have wrist injuries, puts a little bit of extra, takes a little bit of strain off your wrists, but it also moves the mat closer to you. I also have my feet spread a little bit wider so that it can accommodate my belly. And it feels good. And I feel like I can get closer, boop, to touching, to bringing my heels down to the mat. Breathe here. And whenever you're ready, slowly start walking your feet up to meet your hands at the top of your mat in forward fold. Let everything rest in forward fold. Let your hands just dangle. Or maybe if that's uncomfortable, grab your elbows. You can rock side to side. Let your head hang loose. Breathe. You can always add a bend to your legs if you need to. The whole idea of yoga is not touching your toes. That's not the reason for yoga. Touching your toes is just something that happens. On the next inhale, let's come to halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Breathe. Inhale, slowly rise up. If you want to, take your hands up overhead. Watch for the ceiling if you're in a low-lying basement. The ceiling serves as a great prop though, because it kind of stretches out my arms. But hands overhead, exhale, lower your hands to heart center. Check in with yourself. Shrug your shoulders back, stand tall. You just did a lot of work. You're doing great. So, maybe drop your hands. Firm up your mountain pose. Mountain pose is the base of yoga in my book. Again, it's just Andi's book, so it is what it is. But really firm up your place. Now I saw Elle demonstrate this a couple days ago in her yoga workshop, And I'm going to say it's a great trick and something to use if you just feel like mountain pose is just like standing there. Totally isn't. You can always take a block, place it between your legs, and then feel the engagement. So feel your legs wrap around that block. Feel your muscles engage. They should light up. So at the side, it can look kind of weird. It should almost feel like a little Pez dispenser coming out. That's kind of gross, but that's how it should feel. You're really engaging. So mountain pose is so much more than just I'm standing here taking a few breaths. It's really an energetic pose. You're a mountain, okay? So find what that is for you. Find your nice, strong mountain pose. Take some breaths. Inhaling and exhaling. One more time. Inhale and exhale. Good. Now maybe you're looking at the side of your mat and you come to the side. Bring your legs as wide as is comfortable for you. Add a little bend. Maybe your toes are pointing out to the corners of your mat. So you're adding a little bend to your legs. Bring your hands to your hips. Exhale, hinge forward, just enough where your back and neck are parallel to the floor. Inhale and exhale. One more time. Inhale. And on this exhale, lower your hands to the mat, finding a nice forward fold that is in wide legged. So you can bring your hands to the mat. You may be able to bring your hands to the mat, whereas when your legs are closer, maybe you're not able to. So just kind of hang here, hang loose, let your head hang, your arms. And then if you like where you're at, you can stay here. If you need a little deeper stretch, walk those hands to your arches. Maybe that gives you the stretch you need. If you need a little bit deeper stretch, flip those palms over, walk your hands to the back of your mat. Still letting your neck hang loose. You decide where you want to be and what feels good for you. Take a few more breaths. Maybe rock side to side. So maybe you straighten the left leg, then come up, straighten the right leg. So on each inhale, exhale, bend one leg. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, bend another. Rock side to side. And then on your next inhale, we're going to bring our hands to our hips. Inhale, rise to halfway lift, flat back. Breathe. And then inhale, rise all the way up, tucking that chin to chest. That should be the last thing to rise. Blink your eyes open. And come back. Start walking those feet in. If you need to shake anything out, just shake it out. It's okay. You might shake out your ankles and your wrists. You might have all this energy cooped up inside from being inside all day. Hopefully you got outside today, but maybe you didn't. Just shake out what you need to. And then find your way down on the mat one more time. So we're gonna find our way in a seated position. with our feet out in front of us. So however you get there is totally okay. Your feet don't have to touch. They don't have to be close. You can bring your feet a little bit wider if that's more comfortable. Inhale, rise up, straighten that back. And you might notice when I do my inhales and I raise my hands up, my neck is long, my shoulders are down. I don't do this. I do this. This gives you more room to work. So on the exhale, we're gonna lead with our chest hinging forward. Start dropping your hands, still keeping your neck and spine engaged. Maybe you do touch your toes here. Maybe you touch your ankles. Maybe you touch your knees. Anywhere along your leg plane, is totally cool. Breathe wherever you're at, keeping that spine and neck engaged. And then whenever you're ready, maybe sink a little deeper. Maybe you are grabbing your toes this time. Or maybe you're still just grabbing your ankles and your shins and your knees. It's okay. Just notice those things. Take a few deep breaths. And then on the inhale, rise back up. Bring your feet together. Now this might not be super comfortable, so you can always just walk your feet out a little bit to make it a little bit more. Or if this isn't comfortable, just cross your legs, crisscross applesauce, like we do in normal seated position. You decide here, but you take your hands, maybe you wrap them around your feet, maybe you wrap them around your ankles, hinge forward, resting your forearms to your calves or shins, and you breathe. Take a few breaths. You may keep your spine and neck engaged. Maybe you hunch forward a little bit more. You decide what you need. Now on the next inhale, rise up, check in, and then find your way onto your back with your legs long. So once you arrive there, give yourself a full body stretch. Really reach for the sides of your mat, the tops and the bottom. Really stretch like you're getting up in the morning and have nothing to do or something to do, but you really want to give yourself a nice stretch. And then find your way into a comfortable rest, whatever that is for you. So it might be laying on your back with your hands out your sides. You might have your palms up if you need a little bit extra love tonight. If you need some grounding, maybe you put your palms down. Maybe you just let everything hang loose here. Maybe that's not comfortable on your back. Maybe you bend your knees. That's totally fine. Maybe you like to take it on your side. Maybe you want to rest on your side, maybe on your tummy. Or maybe in a favorite pose, like child's pose. Or maybe, like me, you want to take it in a seat. And just know that whenever you come to final rest, you never have to close your eyes. Sometimes closing your eyes in a public space isn't, something that is comfortable for you. And that's okay. You don't have to close your eyes. Your rest is your rest. So wherever you're at, find something that's comfortable and restful for you. Know that you can stay in this pose as long as you like. And don't feel like you have to do anything for the next few moments. As I mentioned at the beginning of class, so as you're going into this rest, I'm going to kind of read you something from one of my favorite writers, Anne Lamott. And I mentioned grace earlier, and having grace with yourself, having grace with others. We're all just human. We're all just going through this life the best we can, and you need to have grace, a lot of grace with yourself right now, so continue to do that. You really need to have a lot of grace with others right now because they're just living their life the best they can. So I found this quote from Anne Lamott. So rest, take some breaths, and she says, everyone is flailing through this life without an owner's manual, with whatever modulation of grace and good humor we can manage. Thank you for joining me tonight on the mat. Take your time. Don't feel like you have to move in any particular way or take all the time you need. And just know this. My soul honors your soul. I honor the place in you where the entire universe resides. I honor the love, the light, the beauty, the truth, the kindness within you, because it is also within me. And in sharing these things, there is no distance or difference between us. We are the same, we are united, and we are one. you have grace with yourself through this week and weekend. And hopefully I will see you all soon on the mat. And we will see all of each other soon in person. But until then, my soul honors your soul. Thank you for joining me. Don't feel the need to rush to get up. Take your time, and I will see you all soon.